Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to talk about our first method of push-up progressions. Members of the military have to do push-ups for their readiness tests, part of their physical requirements that they have to do every so often, depending on which branch you're in and what country you're in. But for the most part, push-ups or press-ups, if you're from over the pond, are part of those tests. Simplest method to do is a volume cycle. Most people are not super great at push-ups because for the most part, push-ups aren't something that's actually used all that much. Like if you go to judo class, you don't fall on the ground and do a push-up to get up. You do some other type of get up. A push-up is really a fundamental piece of a breakdown of other types of get-ups, specifically of burpees. Military guys are very familiar with the idea of dropping down to the ground and getting up with weapons. So push-ups aren't exactly what we need to do, but they are a base level of preparation that anybody can do absolutely anywhere, and everybody has time to do this type of program. The way that we would start this is we would test our max push-ups and not max shitty push-ups. I'm talking about max good push-ups, clean lines, core engaged the whole time, no back sway. If the back sway comes in, you're done. That's it. You've lost it. You've lost a core contraction component of the push-up. That's your max number. Drop one off of that and call that your max number. So we do our test to establish our baseline, and then we do something that I don't know why other people don't do. We cut that number to 40%. If you did 10 super beautiful max push-up, chest touching the ground, then we would do sets of 4 to start. If you're crazy and you want to get into it a little bit harder, maybe sets of 5, but that starts to get dicey. What we would do is we would start a volume cycle. We would keep the intensity the same, and we would add volume or sets over time. So think about doing this as an EMOM, every minute on the minute. You would start with, say, 10 minutes, and you would do 10 sets of 4. You would set a clock, and it would be a repeating timer for 1 minute. And when the bell rings, you do 4 push-ups, and then you hang out for the rest of the time. And then the next time you come back to do another workout, then you would add a set or 2. Oftentimes, if you are starting from a deconditioned position, you would add 1. If you're already somebody who's done a lot of push-ups in the past, then you would add 2 sets. And you would start walking this up towards like an hour. Most people don't have that much time, so a lot of people will move it up towards 30 minutes. When you build up towards 30 minutes, then you would start over, you would retest your max, and you would go back and do another 40 to 50% number, and then you would start over at 10 minutes. It is a rolling wave. You build up your volume at one intensity, the volume drops off, which is your built-in rest phase, but you're not stopping training, and then you would start over with a new number, 5, 6, whatever, and build up from there again. So let's conceptualize this on a graph because nerds. So we have our X and our Y axis. We're going to call this our volume, and we're going to call this time or number of workouts perhaps. And you would start with a specific volume. Say if you did 4 sets of 10, then there would be 40 down here, and that would be the number. As you progressed over time, the volume would go up. When you hit something like 30 total sets, then this number would drop off, and you would start over with your retest and build back up. And this wave is going to go up in an increasing wave form shape. There's a better math term for that. I don't remember what it is. But the idea is that this volume is lower than this volume is lower than this volume. So you're constantly getting better over and over and over again, and your numbers go up over time. But the point of readiness is that you are not doing max training because you don't know what else you'd have to do in that day. The idea of readiness, as I think of it, as many other trainers think of it, is that we don't want to be doing max sets. We're not doing this just to try to get pretty. We're doing this for a functional reason. The reason we are not doing a max set of push-ups every time is because you will frag out. you will get tired and you won't be able to do other tasks throughout the rest of the day. For most people, high-level athletes will be able to max out and recover very quickly, but normal people don't max out and recover very quickly. A method like this is meant to be done 5 or 6 days a week so that we can get to a high volume very quickly. And then this part of the graph right here is the rest phase. So when we retest and we drop back down, we're still doing work. We bumped up the number of reps per set by retesting our max, and then we build up again and again and again. This method works very well as an introductory method to push-ups. For people who haven't done a ton of push-ups in their life, this is probably the most solid plan that we have. The goal is to not train so hard that you don't want to train anymore, because that's what happens when you take people and you ask them to do max push-ups all the time. They fail, they don't think they're good at it, and they quit. The goal is to not quit. The goal is to have improved athletic development for a long period of time, so that we can then apply these athletic skills to other things. If you are just doing push-ups, you are not doing an athletic program. There is no agility in there. You're not picking up anything heavy. Your back's probably not going to feel great if you just do push-ups on its own. So think of this as part of a larger program that you would do before other things. If you were doing a push-up progression like this, you would do this before kettlebells. You would do this before clubs. And you would stack these programs on top of each other. This is all part of the larger idea of the Tetris of training. You can run a bunch of separate programs which each focus on different athletic attributes all at the same time, and you will end up doing something like muscle confusion on accident. Because the volume goes up every day and this wave continues to happen, and then whatever you do after this, whether it be single arm club program, two-hand club program, basic kettlebell programs, simple and sinister, you can stack these things up on top of each other repeatedly forever. But because the push-ups are at a different volume every day and the program you do after it every day changes, you are essentially doing scientific, improved nerd math muscle confusion. Yeah, I think that's how you would say it. People who are more athletic already or who have been better at push-ups in the past could pick a different number than 40%. 40% I'm picking for people who are very new to push-ups and they need to have more gas in the tank to make sure that they can hold their technique properly. If you have done a lot of push-ups in the past, then this number could be 50% or 60%. But I like to keep it at 50% because adding volume is where the secret of this is. The last sets you do, the new sets, if you go from 10 sets to 12 sets, sets 11 and 12 are where you get your athletic development. Everything up to that is really just the warm-up. So think about this idea, volume cycles for push-ups. Test your max, pick a number, 40, 50, or 60%. Don't lie to yourself, probably pick 40 or 50%, and then start adding volume over time. You can push this to 30 minutes if you have a limited amount of time. You could push this to 60 minutes, but probably 30 minutes is best for most people because every workout is somewhere between 10 and 30 minutes, which allows you to plan exactly how much time you need every day so that you can plan your daily schedule effectively in order to keep getting progress.